just a minute. You can go back to eating as soon as I've introduced Benjamin here and he gets rolling. He doesn't mind if you eat, even though he didn't get a chance to eat. That's what planning is all about, right? So Benjamin is not a stranger to us. I think many of you have met him before. He's the founder of Light Blue, which is an auditing, capacity building consulting firm focusing primarily on the hospitality industry. And he's been practicing here for some time, getting both his feet wet and our feet wet as well. So now we're exposed also to the challenges of the hospitality industry. And what he does, of course, is tries to minimize, to the extent possible, the impact that these institutions and operations have on society. So without further ado, I will allow you to go forward. By the way, I'm Alex from MediPack. This is Nick over here and Kunpan next to him. We're all part of the team here that brings this to you every month, same time every month. You can put it on your calendar and join us. Or if you're not receiving our notice, let me know and we'll put you on the mailing list. Without further ado, here is Benjamin.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. How is the mic? Can we hear clearly?
Yes.
Everyone? Yeah? Excellent. Thank you very much for the invitation. Appreciate. Yes, indeed. It's been quite some time. I think the first time I came here was in 2008 when I was working for Accor, the French hotel group. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a bit about our findings, about our vision of the hotel industry and how we could help to make it more sustainable. Just before I cover this, a bit of my background, as I mentioned, started with Accor in 2008, in charge of the certification program called Green Globe. I was implementing this certification in all the Novotels in Asia, so we had 45 properties in 9 different countries, and Judith, who is sitting here with us today, is an editor for Green Globe. So it's no news, but basically Green Globe is one of the most stringent certification program that exists today on the market. Very comprehensive. After doing this for roughly 2 years, I worked as a consultant for the UN ILO on a project called Greener Business Asia. We were helping hotels in Phuket to green their hotel operation, even though I hate this expression, to green, it means everything and nothing. But basically, what was very different was to learn how to engage employees in the process, how to get the buy-in from everyone in the hotel to join the effort, because the top-down approach has its limitations. It is very important to have the initial impulse from the top management, but if you don't get the buy-in, you don't get the understanding from employees, then it's really hard to push any program. And later on I joined as well as a consultant for the EU project in Vietnam on environmental and socially responsible tourism. And I started Light Blue about 3 years ago, where we think that actually to get inspired from those different projects and the different approaches makes it a good combination in order to implement lasting programs. Just wanted to address a few prejudices. I'm sure we somehow are the right crowd here, but it's important to remember that sustainability is not for tree huggers. Sustainability is not for hippies. It's not about like people that are completely detached from the reality of what the business is. Sustainability doesn't have to cost a bomb. It is about lean management. It is about thinking differently the way you run your business, and in that situation, the way you run your hotel. Sustainability is slightly more complex than changing the light bulbs and having a sign next to your bed saying like, or next to your towel saying, please reuse so we can save the world. I am completely horrified when I see this sort of messages, because I don't think it really helps the cause. And to us, sustainability doesn't mean to compromise. You don't have to compromise on the quality of your service. You don't have to compromise on the overall experience. It's really like, it is thinking differently and looking at your business differently. We believe, as I mentioned, that sustainability is about minimizing the input, as in cash and time, as well as minimizing the consumption of natural resources, but to maximize the outcome. So of course you need your enterprise to be profitable. You need to make sure that your guests are happy and that you can provide decent jobs in the right conditions, while you make sure that everything is running with a minimum environmental and social impact. This is our approach. As I mentioned, we really believe into buy-in from employees. And what is very, very important is to go back to the basic, is to explain them why. Why is it that we want to implement any sustainability solutions in the hotel? Because you would realize by discussing with many employees in hotels that are so-called green, that they don't know actually why they're doing so. They're just being asked, from now on, we're going to turn off the light when we leave the room, but they just believe that so the management can save a bit of money. They don't see what is the link. Ownership is very important as well. We try to get them on board, meaning we set up teams that are usually cross-departmental, as well as cross-hierarchy. So you have head of departments that could work with entry-level employees, and ranging from human resources to obviously engineering, but housekeeping to kitchen employees, because they all have a role to play in the implementation of solutions. And incentives. Incentives are important. Incentive, they do not have to be like financial incentive. It works, of course it works, but some hotels, they don't want to use that option. So incentive is more like moral incentive. And for that, I mean awards and rewards that are linked to your effort to reduce the impact that your hotel has on the environment or on the society. If you set the right conditions, then you would help. You would help to address like consumption of natural resources. It has there is a strong correlation between how serious and how genuine sustainability is in the hotel and the retention rate of employees, as well as this will have a direct impact on the service quality, which obviously impacts as well like the satisfaction of your guests. And this is absolutely of paramount importance, because satisfaction nowadays, even more than before, has a direct impact on your reputation and online reputation. You know how quickly guests can trash you through TripAdvisor and other social media if they see something obviously wrong. Well, this works as well with sustainability in general. So it's very important that the satisfaction of your guests is at its maximum, because it has an impact on your revenue. Now I just wanted to cover with you a few trends from Deloitte. Deloitte had a very interesting, wrote an interesting report on hospitality 2015, game changers or spectators. And what they say, the quote is, faced with new patterns of consumer behavior, the most successful brands will be those that are able to most efficiently engage with customers and clearly differentiate their offerings. So this could be applied in various contexts, but the interesting link is how you can use your genuine sustainability commitment with this and make sure that the overall policies are actually making sure that you engage your employees and your customers in the solution. And people are more and more keen on hearing what is happening and even like to participate. And I think this is a very important factor. I would like to test your knowledge. I'm sure that all of you have been traveling. I think that Alex, you saw it last time, so please don't answer. But I would like you to be able to tell me, there are 3 different rooms of 3 5-star international chains in 3 different continents. So there is one Grand Hyatt, there is one Sofitel, and there is one and one Marriott. So the Marriott is in Europe, the Sofitel is in Australia, and the Grand Hyatt is in India. Which one is which? The number 2 is in India. So we believe that the number 1 is Grand Hyatt in Europe. Sorry, the Marriott in Europe, in Prague. One, two, okay. Who else? Do you see any clear distinction between those 3 rooms? That's maybe like the bottom line question. Do you see? The fan is different, yeah, it's right.
And the light, the natural light.
Okay, so instead of brand, let's say like we believe that this is Europe. What about this one? Australia and India. So this is Europe. This is India. And the last one is actually Australia. Bottom line being like this is, I think, a direct counterexample of how you differentiate your offer. And again, sustainability or your overall social and environmental commitment can be used as a marketing tool to differentiate your offer, to differentiate your product from the rest of the crowd. Guest expectations are evolving quickly. This was a study from a survey from Booking.com saying that 52% of respondents would choose a hotel based on its social and environmental impact in 2015. Again, very important. We're not talking about would they choose a hotel that is more expensive but that has sustainability in place? No. I think we have to be very clear. It doesn't have to come with a premium. It has to be comparable location, price, type of product. But if they have the choice between like the standard and the more like responsible sort of hotel, they would go for it. Same with TripAdvisor, with Pata. I'm sure you heard of Pacific Asia Travel Association. They ran a campaign. Out of the respondents from millennials, 56% were saying that having some eco-friendly features was an important decision factor when they were traveling. More interestingly, I would say for the Gen X, 35 to 64, it was shooting up to 71%. And the boomers were even higher than the millennials, which is as well interesting. 55% would say they would choose a hotel with green features. So then those are just like open questions. What is the new definition of luxury? I believe that even the definition itself of luxury has evolved dramatically, and it is shifting from abundance, shiny, very luxurious material to exclusive, genuine, authentic, and this is as well, which is pretty good for us. It is actually aligned with the values that sustainability entails. So let's review quickly some of the support that we're providing to hotels when it comes to sustainability. So from staff awareness raising to energy auditing and carbon emission calculation, green meeting. I just need to share with you. I was at a conference in Cambodia last week on sustainable consumption and production. And I couldn't hold it. I had to speak out, and I was telling them that we can't have a 250 participant meeting in Cambodia run by the UN and the EU, where we had like plastic bottles on every table, where everybody flew in, but there was no calculation of carbon emission, no options to offset them. There were stationaries everywhere on the tables. And I was like, if you, the EU and the UN do not run, walk the talk, who will? If you don't show the example. And I don't know if I'm going to be invited anymore to their meetings. Yeah, well, most of the people were applaud. They were like, that's good to have some fresh perspective. But that was more like the younger generation. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
And I'll bet you it was cold too.
Who?
Cold in the room.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, exactly. The one was like at 19.
Yeah.
And they were shutting all the curtains. I was like, you don't like the external light. You love to be in those boxes when we say oh, sustainable. That was terrible. Waste management and prevention as well is one big topic. Unfortunately, way too often overlooked, just because it is still considered as business as usual. This is something that is a necessary evil, and this is how a hotel runs. But if you don't make the effort, like when you implement a certification, to start measuring the amount of waste and identifying what it is, then you're sure that you're never going to progress. And the big issue we have in Thailand is that you don't pay for your waste as a hotel. You just get them to come and collect, and whatever happens. And that's terrible. In Singapore, we're now trying to work with the government, who has some very pragmatic program in place, where they say any type of organization that can show they're going to cut the amount of waste sent to the incinerator by 100 tons over a certain period are going to have 80% of all their costs covered by the government. 80%, including internal costs, including equipment, and including consulting fees. It's really like, do it, because what we believe is going to happen is that they're going to change the regulation and all the legislation, and they're probably going to charge much more because they have an issue. They don't have enough space, don't have enough land. Greening the supply chain as well is one topic we're very interested in. And again, an example from a few months ago, I was traveling with the family in a nice hotel, nice setting and all, and you go for a boat tour, and the engine of the boat was generating so much smoke, even though we're in a nice area. And of course, it doesn't belong to the hotel, but they obviously need to understand that whoever they contract for different services, people will associate the contractor with the brand, with the hotel itself. And I told the guy, well, this is just ridiculously, this is terrible experience for us. We were visiting some nice caves, that you can only visit when the tide is low. And as soon as they start the engine, everyone is like covered with smoke. And I was ashamed. I was like, you have the name of the hotel as well on the boat. Doesn't look good at all. And that's just one example. We're really talking about the supply chain when it comes to sourcing of your food, for instance, seafood in the hotel industry. There is more and more concern about what are the social practices in place from all the big groups, and some of them, as you know, are as well like Thai groups. Slavery, sustainable fishing, etc. are big topic. Local community projects. There is a project we may be involved in, which I think is very interesting. With the UNDP, they have been selecting certain areas in Bangkok where they had communities that were about to die. In the sense, die like their know-how, all their yeah, their skills, technical skills, they're all in craftsmen, was about to die. And they want to use the hotel industry as a way to maintain and reinvigorate those communities through customers. Because customers, they just don't want to go, I mean, there are some, but they want to see something new, something authentic, something local, and this is a great experience to use this growing need, this growing demand with this actual cash to support some local communities. And I think that this trend as well will be growing as well. No, it was not a top, no. It's an NDP with
No, they did the similar idea that every village has a skill and some central organization supports.
right, yes. I'm not very familiar with what Otab is doing, but if that's the case, yeah. Really like to try to, yeah.
From every community.
Right, try to channel some of the clients from hotels that want to experience something local and something genuine, to be able to visit those communities and support them, like obviously financially, to make sure we maintain this culture. Water efficiency, auditing, and performance. I will cover it right after that. That's obviously linked to what I was mentioning, the optimized guest participation in green policies, urban farming and composting, as well as alternative to chemicals. So I know that there are some companies here representing the chemical industry. We have some very interesting results from, I'm sure that those that have been living in Thailand for quite some time know about EM, effective microorganism. What is interesting is that there are so many ways to use EM to replace actual chemicals. So depending on the formula you're gonna use to create your own organic cleaning agents, you can use them like to clean the floor, clean the windows, clean the aircon. You can use it to pour into your toilets and your sink to make sure your pipes are not being clogged. You can pour it in the septic tank as well to help break down the thing. Very interesting, and it only costs a fraction of the initial price of chemicals. Plus, the great benefit is mainly for employees. Employees who do not have to handle the chemicals, wear gloves or mask, and get their skin irritated, their eye irritated, and all. Very, very interesting. Those are obviously examples of how you can manage your waste in a better way, and it's surprising to see how few hotels in Thailand, I'm really talking about resorts in that case, you need at least a bit of land, but are just composting their organic. Now it's just mixed with all the rest and goes to the landfill.
And there are, excuse me, but the EM, you can also put to the composting. It also helps the composting further.
You can.
I think it's a different concentration or
right.
something, right?
Yes. I think the other use of the EM is to actually you can as well use some of your organic waste to break it down and generate more EM. Yeah, that's right. This is an example of a high-end hotel in the Maldives that is recycling almost all of its glass. They have a furnace, and they are basically recreating something out of what was supposed to be just waste, and they sell it, and they actually make money out of it. This is an example, but upcycling, I think it's coming as well. It's really about looking at waste in a different way, not as something that needs to be discarded, but to see what could be the second use. I was talking about supply chain as well. This is the same hotel that is having its own organic garden. So you control the quality of your produce. You cut the supply chain, so you cut on all the carbon emission related to to the transport, packaging, retransport, etc. of that food. You control as well the fact that it can be organic, like 100% organic or not. And down the line, you can even sell it differently to your clients. This is another example where they are actually extracting the water from the sea and purifying it in order to be able to use it in their hotel instead of having to ship fresh water all the way from the land and then package it, etc., etc. And those, especially for island resorts, this sort of solutions are still very scarce. And this is an example that you probably have heard of. Alex, I'm pretty sure they came here to present. So for those who do not know, it's spirulina. So there is a company here in Bangkok that is helping, that is actually growing spirulina, which is an algae that is basically growing out of water and carbon emission. And then they harvest this spirulina which is actually some sort of superfood. I don't know if you heard of that as well. And then they do like yeah, okay. So, but again, this is about thinking about your business differently. The Novotel, they had this empty space on their rooftop, just doing nothing out of it, and they just had this agreement with this company, and now they are generating food that they even use in their own restaurant. Out of it's just like generating more business and very importantly for them as well, some marketing material, something to talk about. And they really had quite some press coverage out of this sort of initiative. And one thing I need to really talk to you about is the issue of food waste, which is one of the topics we spent a lot of time working on over the past 3 years, because the actual situation is quite ridiculous. We out of all the food produced worldwide, there is 33% that is being discarded. 1/3 of all the food produced is actually ending up in the bin. That is 1.3 billion tons of food. Meaning that basically, if you were able to take out of this 1.3 billion tons, you take only 25%. That's enough in quantities to feed the people that are dying of hunger. The 900 million people that are dying of hunger in this world. So obviously we're not talking about the logistic and everything behind, but just to give you the big picture, how ridiculous the situation is. In the hotel industry, from our calculation, between 250 and 450 grams of food is actually being wasted per cover, with a very impressive scope between 130 to 450 kilos of food wasted per hotel per day. So the 450 kilos was an all-inclusive resort in Phuket. But just to give you an idea, 450 kilos a day is 150 tons a year for one hotel. Some, I would say, disturbing findings as well from our food waste audit is that up to 36% of all the food purchased by the hotel was actually ending up in the bin. 36%. And you may wonder, okay, where is this food waste normally going? Is it going to the poor in Thailand at this stage? It's not. Is it going to the landfill? Sometimes, yes. But it's mainly going to the pig farms. So instead of being able to capture and redistribute what is still edible and give it to people to feed them, it actually ends up in the pig farm. And again, thinking about closing the loop and circular economy, the hotels that are giving away the food to the pig farms, they are not even buying the pigs for their own consumption of meat, of pork meat. And that's, I think it's a question of mindset. It will come. I mentioned that to some hotels recently, and they were like, yeah, but we need the quality standard and all. They were like, yes, but the food you buy for your own employees in the canteen, you don't give them Korobuta, super pork and organic stuff. Don't pretend. So we implement what we call food excess auditing, and it's really like for 7 days we're going to record whatever food is being discarded using 4 different categories: spoilage waste, preparation waste, buffet waste, and plate waste. And we record everything in order to answer the crucial questions. Where is food waste happening? In which outlet of the hotel, at the canteen, at the banqueting? When is it being discarded? Like in terms of, is it breakfast, lunch, dinner? What is being discarded? By listing the most wasted items. We list the top 20 most wasted items during 1 week of audit. Why is it being discarded? Very important to understand why does this food end up in the bin besides plates or buffet, which is obvious. If it is preparation waste, why do we throw away so much? How much it represents in quantities, but very importantly, we do calculate as well how much it represents in US dollar. We calculate what is the cost of food waste for one hotel during 1 week, and then we do some projections. This will give us the opportunity to establish a baseline, and then to make sure that there is an ongoing monitoring process that is implemented in the hotel to be able to see how is the hotel improving compared to the baseline. The solution that comes as well with it, once we know the big picture, where are the issues, we have been able to identify what is being lost, when, where, why. Then, as I mentioned, we set up teams, cross-departmental teams, to work on the issue. We run some campaigns with all the employees. Workshop as well on how to become more creative with food instead of just discarding it. What else could be done with this product? And I was talking about incentive, and this is as well very important for employees to be rewarded for their efforts, especially those that are very proactive. So we give them as well a certificate. I think all in all, it's really about looking at your business with a different perspective. Taking a different angle to approach the way you run your business on a daily basis. And again, doesn't have to compromise either your quality, or doesn't necessarily mean to invest heavily in equipment. But it's really like to get people to embrace your vision, to understand why we're doing it, and give them enough liberty to speak out as well and share some of their perspective. Last thing I want to cover with you, and I think that's going to be interesting to you, Olga. We have the opportunity right now to work with hotel owners. They have a new project here in Bangkok, and they would like to integrate sustainability. And what is fantastic is to be able now to move from hotel operations, hotels that are already up and running, and go upstream, to be able to go all the way from now where we are, meaning like business case development, space planning, system engineering, construction, interior design, then pre-opening, and finally operation. To integrate this mindset, the technology that is now available, but to always keep in mind that, okay, this hotel, the vision you have of the hotel at the end, you have to integrate it all the way up at the inception level, and integrate that in each of those different steps. This is it.
Any questions?
Yeah, we got time for Q&A. If anybody has any questions they want to ask Benjamin, now is your chance. You don't get the consultant's time for free very often. Take advantage.
Don't say it.
Who else are the clients besides Novotel?
No, Novotel is not our clients. Novotel used to work with Novotel on behalf of Apple. There are certain clients that, especially on food waste, that do not want to be necessarily mentioned. We had a chance to work with GovNet. with Soneva Fushi in the Maldives, so Del Sol in Bangkok, and we touch wood. There are several things pending, and for the hotel development hasn't been finalized the contract, so we'll hold it. But there is some interesting development we're discussing with Peninsula on the green meeting. Yeah. Yes.
So we have a lot of hotels here in Bangkok. So there are a lot of new hotels here in Bangkok. I suppose it looks easier for the new hotels to adopt this system. And when you build a hotel, we should consider the whole ecosystem and then create a hotel. But there are a lot of existing hotels, and you introduce a lot of examples to make sustainability. So which part is the most effective from your experience? I mean, what should we introduce? What we should start from your experience? Which is the most effective?
I think the best way is not to select one topic, as in like we're gonna work on energy or we're gonna work on waste. I think the best way to implement sustainability in the hotel industry is actually to identify out of all your employees, to have a quick survey to know who are those that are interested, to see like those that really care about the thing, and to set up a small committee, and out of this committee, probably like with the HR coordinating the whole thing, and out of this committee then getting them to by themselves, because employees know what can be fixed. They don't necessarily know how, but they know like, okay, I always see there is a big leakage of water in the engineering room. Okay, so we're losing a lot of water there, so maybe that could be one of the topics. Or it could be yes, we're not sorting waste. Maybe we should start by having several categories of waste at the back of house. I think if you wanna make lasting changes, baby steps at the beginning are very important, and what we call the quick wins. So, like quick wins, like you start with a small thing, and once you achieve it, like you make sure that everybody knows this is where we started, this is where we are now. Let's be it's a satisfaction that things are changing. But I think that for hotels that are maybe a bit larger, they should consider adopting some sort of certification. Not that I want to advocate for any certification in particular, but I think that what it helps a lot to structure the approach and to give a frame, basically, to understand, to make sure you don't go in every direction and that you're being lost in the process. So certification is good because it will invite you to have an environmental management system in place. Something basic, but at least it is part of your operation after that. Yeah.
What are the biggest challenge for successful implementation in Thailand?
In Thailand in particular, perception from hotel owners that prejudices I was mentioning earlier. They believe that sustainability is for hippies, or that it's going to cost a lot of money, that it doesn't make business sense, that they have other priority. So this is one of the big challenge. Then I think it's really important to go through the process of engaging and explaining why you would do it with your employees. Otherwise, they will perceive it, like employees will perceive it as just another order coming from above, and we have to do it. And if we can not do it, then we'll not do it. I mean, so I think it's mainly a question of perception. Yeah, that not enough communication about all the successful case studies that are out there in terms of savings. I didn't mention it in my presentation, but when you implement some certification program, for instance, some of the most stringent one, you can expect between 10 and 15% saving on energy, up to 30% saving on water, reduce your waste by 30% as well, without really taking into account all the side benefits, like as I mentioned, the staff engagement, which will have an impact on the service quality, which has an impact on your guest satisfaction. And there are other topics where actually getting more lean and more responsible. For instance, on food waste, it's ridiculous. The amount of money that is wasted through food on a yearly basis for one hotel we work with was close to $500,000 a year just on food. So purchasing price plus labor plus energy plus water put together, projected over 1 year, and by implementing a system that is monitoring, engaging your staff, monitoring, and then setting targets to improve based on where you identify where food is being lost. We saw like the dramatic reduction in the amount of waste generated by the kitchen thanks to this sort of system that is implemented, and that's direct savings. So I think there is often this missing link between you don't need to invest in a new equipment in order to have a return on investment. You need to change your working habits, but of course people prefer to have a plug-and-play sort of solution rather than a process that needs to be adapted.
Right, and the example that you gave now was $500,000 waste after the implementation. Did you follow up with them? They save money?
Yeah, indeed. The calculation of this $500,000 plus cost of food waste over the yearly period was actually the level before the audit. And the day they started the audit, they reduced by 2. So we couldn't access information more than 3 months after the end of the audit. But during the audit, it was like divided by 2, so 50% compared to the initial level. Then they went up to 60%. And then they didn't share information with us anymore. But you know that already out of the three months that follows, if they were to maintain, let's say, level that is 30% lower than the initial level, they would save around 120,000 USD. So very efficient sort of solution for a hotel.
And did you recommend just the procedures, or you also have resources companies that, for example, you gave their income as their one of their solutions for cleaning? So do you have this kind of resources, these companies that you recommend to your clients?
Oh, we do it.
You actually find their cleaning liquid where they can purchase?
Yeah. For instance, we will help like to start your own EM from scratch. So what are the different ingredients you need? What is the process to generate from this the recipe? How long you need to leave it, and then how you need to dilute it to use it. If it is for the floor, if it is for the.
So you have a diverse team that is in construction and
no, construction, everything related to construction, no. But with our small team, yeah, we depending on the project, we can do it. So for food waste, we would go 7 days on site, one day where we train and implement the recording stations and the whole procedure. 7 days where we track what is happening. We work with the employees to make sure they respect the procedure, the categories are correct, and the information is coming back to the main database as it should. And after the 7 days, we have the result of the audits that helps the hotel to understand what is the issue, what is being lost, when, where, etc. So no, we don't do like construction, etc. For the last slide I was showing, when we were talking about going upstream and going at the inception level, and then we will work with some experts, for instance, on lead certification that we will bring on board.
Resources already, or you're working on development?
This is brand new, so it started less than a month ago. But yes, that's the idea, like that we can go to the client and say, okay, for that stage in the development process, we can provide the resources to ensure that your building will be LEED certified, for instance.
One more question, then we'll have to call it quits. Last chance.
I'm just curious to know, there are several hotel management programs here in this country with like different universities. And do they have any interest in sustainability? Do they have courses in sustainability, or have you been invited to talk to them?
We find it hard. Which hotel management you have in mind? You're talking about Lucid?
Well, Dusit, and also like some universities also offer courses as well.
University.
Yeah. I'm sure.
You have Bangkok University as well, right?
Yeah.
But they are hardly hotel management schools, so they would teach about like the theory. But it's we're really interested in being able to work, for instance, with the Lusitania College, so to actually teach students who will become then.
The reason I ask is that, you know, if the owners want to do it, but then if the young generations that will be feeding into the industries have no clue what it's all about, then it's a waste of time.
Yeah, this is something we are looking at. We're not that well connected when it comes to universities and
Have you been talking to Lusitania already?
Yeah, that was the person I was talking to on the phone earlier, but not for the Lusitania College. Been there to teach once, but it was a classroom sort of lecture. But what I would like to see is to be able to work with them with the Cordon Bleu, where they have their cooking school on food waste, for instance. But yeah, it is as well. So often there is like politics involved, having the right network. But if you have any suggestion, I would be more than happy to look at it.
Okay, well, good. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Let's give you one hand again, please.